Welcome, Sam, to Metallurian Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the Fallujah, this new album, Cenotaph, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are started by asking, how are you doing today? How is the band? How is the band the last couple of years? Because your previous album was released in 2022.
Yeah, well, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, dude, it's been quite the journey, dude. Like I joined the band as a touring member when Empyrean came out in 2022.
Mhm.
So now to have as of yesterday finally released a record together, um, to have been able to write, record that record, pretty cool experience. The band's doing great. We're pretty psyched that it's out, man. We sat on it for a little while just because of tours and personal stuff, logistics, everything. Like you have to slot in album releases where they make sense. So we have been really like wanting to get this music out for a long time. So it's finally out. So we're very happy. It seems like the response has been overwhelmingly very positive from commenters, reviewers, everything. So we're pretty psyched, man. It's going good.
Okay. And so when did you decide to start writing songs for this new album? It was during this last tour for the Imperium, or it was completely a full songs, or perhaps Scott has some songs, I don't know, saved for the next album. Who know? When started composition for this?
We started writing this record in like the summer of 2023. So
Mhm.
almost actually I guess it would be about 2 years ago in the spring, something like that. Yeah, it kind of started with Scott and Kyle did like a big writing session together, and then after that, Scott and I did a big writing session together. And then from there, we had enough material floating around that we were able to all kind of like work on individual stuff, but also work as a team. We did a lot of like video calls back and forth, just going over different parts and kind of fleshing stuff out, working on arrangements and stuff. And that all took place in the end of 2023. So yeah, we started writing in around the spring summer of 2023, and then finished the record in I think like March of last year. So it was about a year's worth of work, just under a year, I'd say. And then, of course, we sent everything to Dave Otero for mixing, after we were finished with the recording process. So yeah, it's been a long kind of wait. I feel like we've been working on this for, you know, 2 years, waiting for this day. So
Okay. Thank you very much for this. Now, let's talk about more about this one. So, and in this process of the composition, it was mostly composed with Scott, or it was composed for you, or with the bass player. Because I see with the new lineup for this new album, it's like it completely new because just Scott is from the 2007. Now
yeah.
you enter 2022, but then officially you enter to the band 1 year later, 2023. Kyle entered 2022, and also Evan entered 2022. So how it was the process with the new members? Scott has all the sounds, or perhaps you bring new ideas for this new album?
Oh, I definitely brought a lot of ideas. Kyle brought a lot of ideas, and Kyle, his vocals are completely his own on this record. He said a couple times now that on Empyrean, he was that was his first album with Fallujah, but the music had already really been written when he was contacted to do vocals for the band. So his mentality on that record was he wanted to serve that music the way that it was written. Like he felt like it was his job to complete the record in whatever way was best for the band. I think he did a great job of that, obviously. But on Xenotaph, we all started working on this together from the very beginning. So his mentality was, and I shared this as well. It was like we're gonna make this record like how we would want to make a record together. We all just kind of wrote very naturally together and brought our own kind of influences to the table. And previously, you talk about did Scott write the songs? He is the main songwriter for Fallujah, like by far. I think he has written. Uh, every album up until Xenotaph just basically by himself, is my understanding. Now, I wasn't there, but that's just how I understand it. But on this record, he was very receptive to having us be a part of the creative process and the writing process. So there's certainly some songs that were inspired by parts that I brought in, and there's even some Kyle sections of songs. And then again, like I said, Kyle was just completely turned loose in the writing as well. So with the vocals, I mean, you'll hear his influence all over the record for that reason. So yeah, very collaborative record, and we always just like follow Scott's vision because that's the Fallujah sound. It really is his kind of vision ultimately, and all we could do is participate, and
Okay.
yeah. So, but it was a great process. The writing process was amazing. I'm very thankful to be in a band where we're all very open to bringing each other's ideas into the mix. And so I have to shout out Scott for being that kind of a dude. He's very receptive to ideas and he wants input from other people all the time. So it's been a really positive writing experience working with him.
Okay, okay. Now we're talking about especially for the concept because the concept of the old cenotaph is like something I saw in a lot of albums, especially in the metal or in games. A lot of video games has this name cenotaph, especially. So, and what kind of information we have for this cenotaph? Is it a special thing, or what kind of, or perhaps it's a conceptual album? This cenotaph.
Yeah, the concept is all Kyle's kind of brainchild. He really wanted to do a concept album, and we were all very much on board with that. Um, yeah, so a cenotaph is like a tomb without a body in it, right? And that's a pretty common, metal term. You see cenotaph thrown around a little bit, but a xenotaph was kind of a made up word that we came up with when we were on tour together. Um, it's it's to us resembles like a tomb without a body, but it's much more celestial and abstract than that. It's like an otherworldly tomb without a body, which I think plays into the concept behind the album. The story takes place where kind of the main character, this protagonist, kind of wakes up in a post-death state, but is greeted by this almost angelic, like celestial being, which is the album cover. It's kind of the first thing that he sees after he wakes up after a post-death experience. And this guide, kind of ushers him through different realms on like a journey of almost like not self-discovery, but way more in depth than that, like ego death and the destruction of everything that you think you know about life and existence and reality. And it's supposed to be very abstract in the sense that the lyrics are telling a story that we want to convey that it's not human comprehension can't understand what this character is going through, right? So and ultimately, there's some twists at the end where I don't want to spoil it too much. I mean, the album's out; you can go listen to it. I highly recommend listening to it and reading through the lyrics as well, because the story is very intricate and interesting. But there are some twists. It gets very dark towards the end, and it's kind of revealed that things are not good in this post-death realm, and the protagonist kind of has to navigate that. Um, in a kind of some interesting ways. So yeah, that's pretty much the concept in a nutshell, as I, the guitarist of the band, can describe it. It's this again. It's like Kyle put so much work into this story and telling the story, and I think he did a great job with it. So
Hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, especially as you said with the boys parts, Kyle, according for me, Kyle is outside of the control because they put a lot of a lot of layers with his voice. There's guttural, slow down, screams,
mhm.
lyrical. I don't know. That's a lot. That's amazing for Kyle. And
Yeah,
another thing. Well, talking about more a little more your yeah, when you entered to the band in 2023. So now, at that moment, you're well. before the band you are an outsider, and now you are an insider of the band. So how many things changed for you? Because at the beginning you are all the time start as a fan of the band, then you are joined the band for your talent and more things. So now how many things change as an outsider and an insider in Fallujah?
Yeah, great question. Things they change in the sense that I feel like I take on more responsibility with the band, right? But that's a good thing. That's what I want. But here's the thing. I always had the mentality that I should be taking on responsibilities no matter if I'm in the band or not, like, and I think that's partially why, I mean, obviously I can play guitar, obviously I can play the songs, um, but I feel like it's the folks who bring extra skills and take on extra responsibilities that set themselves apart from other people who might be in the running for gigs in the music industry. So I just was like, okay, well, if I'm going to stick around, I want to start doing more stuff. So from the beginning, I was teching with the band. I tried to become a driver for us as fast as I could. As soon as everybody was comfortable with me, they trusted me enough to drive the van. I'm like, I will drive the van. Let's do it. I remember the very first show. I'd never done merch before, and I was like, put me at the merch booth. I'll try and make that happen. So I really did try to take on as much as I could from the very beginning. So now that I'm in the band, like officially a member, it's just more of that, basically. It's just kind of a continuation of that. So now it's like, okay, responsible for assisting with, the writing process and also just general like guidance and feedback with decisions about what we want to do as a band. What tours we want to go on and stuff like that. I just have a little bit more of a say. I'm not like a fill-in guitar player or a touring guitar player. So, but it's been nothing but a positive experience the entire way through, man. I mean, not without some challenges, of course, but dude, it's I feel very lucky and I'm very happy to be a member of Fallujah. So, yeah,
Mm.
definitely
Oh,
surreal to come from outside of the I don't know how to say it, like not of the industry because I was doing things, but I wasn't doing anything at the level that Fallujah is at. So to kind of like jump up to Fallujah level of doing stuff was pretty surreal, man, and I'm super grateful that it happened. So
okay, okay. I understand for this, Sam. And now, well, talking about more a little the promotion for this new album. So, what kind of plans do you have for this new album? So, perhaps you will embark more tours, gigs. You will release more videos because until now you have three ones. And
yeah,
what kind of plans do you have for this new album? Or perhaps you're already working a new album. Who knows?
yeah, we have lots of stuff going on, man. We have a tour announced for next February. We're doing a European tour with Omnium Gatherum and In Mourning, which I'm super excited about. We have another tour to announce that actually, we have two more tours to announce. So that'll be happening pretty soon. I suspect we'll be announcing those pretty fast here. So lots of touring. We have a tour that we've talked about wanting to put together, that hopefully we can get our act together enough to put it together. So hopefully there will be three tours to announce, so lots of tours. On top of that, you mentioned the music videos. We are doing some more music videos. So, spoiler alert, we are going to do another music video pretty soon, actually. I kind of have to get back to work on that. I don't want to spoil too much. I can't say what song it's going to be for, but yeah, we are going to start dropping some more content pretty soon. Man, we've been really working on our social media lately. So we'll be doing a lot of that as well. It is 2025, so social media matters so much. So we'll be promoting through there as well, doing like playthrough videos and stuff. And then you also mentioned, are we writing a new album already? We are talking about that. And I know that we all have ideas both for what we want to do in terms of like direction to take the new album, and also we have like musical ideas floating around individually. I know everybody has just stuff that we can serve as like a starting point for us, But yeah, so but we have not sat down in a room to write yet. We've all been super busy with all the things going on in our lives lately that we haven't really had a chance to like sit down and write anything together yet. But as soon as everybody's kind of home from all the touring and shenanigans that we got going on, we'll for sure probably sit down and start writing again. So yeah, lots to do. Lots going on. It never really stops. That's one thing that's changed since I joined the band. Going back to your previous question, is things have definitely like felt like they've sped up in a lot of ways, you know? And that just again comes from like taking on more work, more things to do to help grow the band. So yeah, but it does not stop at all. I feel like we have a million things we have to do, and but that's a good thing because otherwise, like, what's the alternative that we have nothing to do and there's nothing going on, you know? But there's tons going on. So, anyways, I'm rambling. There you go.
Great, great, great. Well, yeah, that is, well, in this situation, yes, Fallujah is like one of the bands that is distinguishing since the first second album. I remember the Flesh Prevails.
Oh yeah.
That album just put on the map for a lot of people for this album. I remember very well about this one. Now, well, talking about more other kind of things, as you can see. So there is now a different kind of movements. Many people complain about the AI, about this kind, about the AI is taking jobs and that is related for this. But the good thing, the bad thing about the AI, no, the good thing is just in the science, the AI, and also to do this simple easier sometimes. But if we are relating this tip, the new technology especially, you can see that now the live shows for the bands, and no bands are not using amps, bands are not using effects, bands are not using crowd
Hmm.
to set it up their sound in live presentations. It's
Yeah.
just only one person just handle everything with a laptop or with a tablet, I don't know, or just using plugins and connect directly to the console. There's no more now. There's
Hmm.
the amps is just now for just the bigger bands, and just the smaller ones doesn't have doesn't have any more this amp. So what is your kind of opinion about this new in this new way of to produce concerts? There's no more apps, and also there's no more people involved in the sound live presentations.
Yeah, things have changed. Things are definitely changing. It is not like in the 80s. I mean, you had no choice but to have an amp on stage with you.
Mhm.
You know, you just had an amp, you had a cab, maybe you even had a full stack because, you know, back in that time, I mean, I wasn't there. I watched videos of it, you know. But that was the culture, right? And nowadays it's so easy to just you can just roll up to the venue and you've got like everything in a pedal, you know, and you can just send it directly to the sound guy and you're done. Now, we like having cabs behind us, so we have cabs in Fallujah. So, um, but we also use an amp modeler. We use Kemper's and Axe Effects stuff. So we do use modelers. Having said that, we have a cab at all times behind each one of us. So we're sending like real guitar tones out to the crowd as well as sending a direct signal to our front of house, which I think is fine. You know, it sounds great. That's the thing is it sounds amazing. It's way more convenient. You can get a much wider range of sounds. But that's the thing is like I love amps at the same time. Now I don't own any because they're very expensive and you know I live in an apartment and stuff. Like I just don't have any real use for an amp, but I love amps. I think they're so sick. One of the things that I really want to do in the next, 10 years is start building a collection of amps. Probably still won't even take them on tour though. That's the thing. You can't really beat, in my opinion, the convenience of having modelers and considering how good they sound. As long as you have a guitar cab behind you, you're still doing the exact same thing. I agree. I definitely prefer to have the stage filled out though. Like you want to see cabs on stage, right? You want to see the gear on stage. Um, I agree with that for sure. But I also, if somebody wants to go up and just play guitar with no cab behind them and they're just setting their signal direct, I'm not. That's up to them. I think. Um, but about AI is freaky, dude. I don't know how I feel about all that. Well, I do know. I don't like it, to be honest. I'm not. It's a little. I'm not chill with like in the music scene. It doesn't really do anything for me personally. Um, I think it's funny to use it to make joke songs. Have you ever done that?
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
you
I
can,
saw it.
but not real songs, and definitely not as an assist to making real music, you know? So, like we've definitely, you can just make songs about your friends. That's funny. But that's just a joke, you know? We don't like AI in general in music. I don't think it's a good thing. So, but it does seem to be where things are headed, and that's kind of freaky, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Now, especially in the whole arts, now the AI is more involved with all the process. Even when we were talking about from the recording process, there's an AI involved in all recording process. We don't. Nobody knows that, but is involved now with the production, with the edition, everything. Because when you set it up, now set it up something for the edition, automatically the system edited without just pushing one button, and everything it was edited with that button.
Well, I don't think AI is really used in the production for us. I mean, I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that programs are so complex now that it's very simple and quick to be able to like edit and do stuff. We're kind of still purists about the way we track stuff. I mean, for the most part, at least as far as I know, there's definitely no like actual AI involved. Like we're not using anything generative or anything in the creation of music or nothing like that. So, we just track our guitars and then send them to be mixed. That's really it. Same with drums and bass and nothing's the only thing that's programmed is like synths,
Mhm.
and that's Kyle. Kyle does that. He like programs layers to build out the atmosphere and the music. But everything else is recorded, and my God, is it painstakingly a process, dude. It's very involved and it's very time consuming, but
Mm,
we're passionate about that. So,
mm,
yeah, this idea that you can like you can program guitars now and program bass now, and it sounds really good. And that's cool, but it also kind of sucks a little. But
mm,
it's cool at the same time. It's like I don't know how to. We'll never do it, but I mean, people are doing it and it sounds good. So if that's how you want to make music, that's I can't knock you for it, you know.
mm, okay, okay. Okay, and one other thing that I want to ask you about this is the lineup of the band because right now there is two guitars, there is one vocals and one bass player, but the band doesn't have any drummers into the lineup. Just Kevin is like the future or a guest in the or guest musician for the record. I saw that, and why until the moment doesn't Fallujah doesn't have any drummers established drummer.
Yeah, Kevin is like he played on the album. I think he did an amazing job. And he's done some tours with us. And whether or not that continues in the future we just have to kind of have a conversation with him. I feel like we've just been focusing on getting the album out, you know? So yeah, I don't know. We never really put any labels on it. I think we just asked him to play on the record. He did an amazing job again. I mean, it was like it sounds incredible. And also you have to shout out Mike Lowe, who engineered the drums, and I mean he just made everything. And then of course Dave, who did the mix. Really, it was like a very big team effort, and of course it wouldn't have happened without Kevin being incredible. And so yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's there's definitely been some lineup changes in the past couple years for sure. Yeah, you're right about that. But we're pretty happy with everything and everyone that's in the band right now. So.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now and the next question I think is one of the common ones in all interviews for Fulu. So, well, what for you, what did it mean especially for Fulu? Because Fulu is according to the when we're looking for in Google, Google said that is an a city
Mhm.
from Iran. So, And perhaps the Scots created this band with the first members with a different meaning. So, do you know about that meaning of the correct or full you?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. One, it's a cool sounding word. I think it sounds cool. It's not a taken band name until now, obviously. But then a little deeper than that, I know that Scott and his bandmates and friends and family, like they had people that they knew who were over there fighting, like they were in that war and that battle. And so I think when Scott was forming the band, again, he was in high school. I think he felt like that had a certain it brought a certain feeling to him that he just wanted to explore at the time. And so yeah, it doesn't have a ton of deep meaning. It definitely is not like an overt reference to anything in particular. I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's just a sick name.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And now, well, one of the last questions for this interview, Sam, is well, now the album is one day older,
Oh
one day.
yeah.
So, and for this, so how do you take? How do you how it was the reception of the fans, the reviews, comments? Because the album is out, many people hear it, many people listening, many people write about it, especially reviews. And how do you take about review about this album?
So far, the reception's been crazy. It's been very positive. I keep reading comments from people who are just really thrilled. So everybody's mostly everybody is seeming to really like the record, which is amazing. And we love the record, in the band. Like we feel very, very confident in these songs and in the music. And personally, I think, I don't know. I mean, we gave it our all, and I think we're just very happy with the result. I like reading the reviews. I will read a lot of the reviews, and it's really cool to see people's insights, both good and bad. There have been some reviews where it doesn't really click with everybody, and that's totally fine. Not everybody has the same music taste, so that's all good. But yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly positive, like across the board. It has seemed like, 90% of comments are like really good, and that's super nice. I'm happy about that. Definitely happy about that. It's been a good 24 hours or so, It's been really cool to see. And to be
Great.
able to be part of it is so awesome, man. So, yeah.
Great, 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 great. Well, Sam, we arrived to the sad moment of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. Well, this new albums from Fallujah, it's a great one. This Xenotaph is a great one. Love this one. The old one, or the old Imperial one, is a great one also. Congratulations on both albums. And perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect someday Fallujah here in a full Latin American tour? Who knows? And obviously, Metallica followers.
Yeah, check out the record and I hope you love it. We will be going on tour very soon. We're going to announce some new stuff very soon as well. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, thanks for the support. Seriously, like it's awesome to see people loving it. And yeah, I couldn't be more psyched about, this release. See where it goes from here. And yeah, thanks for having me, man. This was great. I appreciate it a lot.